Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3 FY22 earnings conference call of Vakrangee Ltd. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Dinesh Nandwana, Managing Director and Group CEO. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good day. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to greet you all once again on behalf of our Board of Directors and Senior Management. We begin by thanking all of them in joining us here today to discuss our third quarter earnings for the financial year 2022. As with respect to our business strategy, we are back to our growth path and we are showcasing strong growth and improved financials every quarter-on-quarter basis. There has been robust growth in revenue as well as profitability as the COVID situation normalized, as well as our e-commerce services like online shopping, online travel, online healthcare, and other services have become operational. We have grown our revenue as well as profitability on consistent basis for last 5 quarters and are therefore back on sustainable growth path. Today we have emerged as the go-to-market platform for our various business verticals including fintech and digital platforms. We are building India's largest last-mile distribution platform, emerging as a physical plus digital ecosystem with a pan-India presence. During the quarter, we have tied up with new service partners and launched services such as online opening of demat and trading account services, CIBIL credit rating score services, and PAN card services across our physical CAN network as well as on our digital platform of Bharat Easy mobile super app. We have also launched the SBM banking BC point services across our network of Vakrangee. During the current quarter, we have tied up with Naira Energy Limited for setting up Vakrangee Kendra outlet in its Naira retail fuel outlets. Vakrangee will be setting up Vakrangee Kendra outlet across the network of Naira Energy. This strategic tie-up would help to significantly ramp up the physical network of Vakrangee Kendra outlet in both urban as well as in rural areas. With respect to proposed demerger of non-core business of e-governance and ITES as a separate entity, we would like to update that we are in process for the same and are awaiting the observation letter from the exchanges, post which we shall proceed for the NCLT approval process. We believe the proposed demerger would unlock the potential of the core Vakrangee Kendra business in the current listed entity with existing business of Vakrangee Kendra physical outlet as well as digital platform of Bharat Easy mobile super app. Vakrangee Kendra business is retail-centric consumer-facing business. It is an assets-light, high return on capital business and thereby will get the proper representation post the demerger. We believe this would lead to significant re-rating of core business and would maximize shareholders' wealth. Over the last few years, we have undergone a huge transformational journey whereby we have made a transition from non-exclusive store format outlet to highly recognizable standard exclusive branded next-gen format outlet. We have successfully launched 19,230 plus Kendra and are on track to deliver 25,000 Kendra before March 22. I believe we have reached an inflection point and from here on we foresee a strong growth momentum in terms of financial as well as operational growth over the coming years. We believe we are now well poised and have a clear visibility for a strong growth journey in the next few years to come. We have recently launched our next 5-year growth plan and future business guidance through our Strategy 2.0 document. The Strategy 2.0 document highlights our next 5-year growth targets and operational and financial deliverables in details. We are confident to deliver very strong growth over the next 5 years as our network would grow from 19,230 to 25,000 outlets by March 22 and to 75,000 outlets by March 26. We estimate that our gross transaction value would cross $50 billion on an annual basis over the next 5 years, and number of transactions would cross 1 billion transactions annually. This would result into significant growth in revenue and profitability as our business model is assets-light franchisee-based model with strong operating leverage. Our cash-adjusted return on capital would improve significantly. Commenting on financial performance, our revenue from operation stood at 208.67 crore, year-on-year growth of 180.62%. EBITDA stood at rupees 43.36 crore, year-on-year growth of 72.8%. PAT stood at rupees 29.33 crore, year-on-year growth of 74.5%. Going forward, as the environment normalizes, we expect the financial to keep improving as all services become fully operational and as the stores get more and more mature. Also, we have been able to maintain a robust balance sheet with debt-free status, and entire capex has been funded through internal accruals. We will witness the benefits of strong operating leverage as our cost would remain at the same level until we reach 25,000 fully operational outlets. Thereby, strong operating leverage to result into significant improvement in profitability. Our quarterly throughput crossed rupees 12,500 crore, whereas our quarterly number of transactions crossed 3.4 crores. Going forward, we shall witness growth on 3 paths, which is increase in number of outlets, activation of all services across outlets, and then maturity of services over the period of time. We have recently launched a mobile super app-based business platform, Vakrangee Ltd, India ka super app. It is currently a beta version, and we intend to go fully operational live in next couple of quarters. We have made live and executed some of the key services like online shopping, telemedicine services, online demat account opening, civil credit score rating services, as well as online PAN card application services. We are also planning to launch a neo banking services for our Vakrangee mobile super app. Through this, we are focused to evolve into unique O2O, online to offline platform, whereby there would be assistance available through the physical Kendra network along with digital online services. A unique differentiator and a sustainable competitive advantage is whereby our digital super app platform would be able to leverage the Vakrangee on-ground ecosystem, a vast, well-diversified pan-India level 19,230 plus physical stores network of Vakrangee as point of physical assistance, especially to customers to semi-urban and rural remote locations. This unique proposition of digital along with physical would help the digital channel to scale up fast and would significantly reduce the cost related to acquiring customers, physical assistance, order fulfilling, and return management of online orders. Further leveraging physical presence would result into better customer interaction, strong brand recall, and better services experience and trust for the customer. It gives me immense pleasure to share that in 22, Vakrangee has been recognized by Sustainalytics as an ESG Global 50 top rated company. Vakrangee Ltd is identified as a top ESG performer out of more than 4,000 comprehensive companies that Sustainalytics cover in the global universe. Further, our company has also been awarded ESG India Leadership Award 2021 for the category Leadership in Data Privacy and Security, organized by ESG Risk AI, India's first ESG rating company. Global recognition reflects company's commitment to further enhance its corporate governance and transparency standards. Company has achieved global recognition across various platforms for its superior ESG performance and long-term business sustainability. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our shareholders for their support. We can now open the floor for question and answer session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are with handsets while asking a question. We would also request participants to limit your question to 1 at a time. Should you have a follow-up question, please rejoin the queue. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Sriram Rajan, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, operator. Am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you are
you
audible.
are.
You're audible, yeah. Happy New Year to the Vakrangee team, to Mr. Dinesh, and to all of us in this call. I'm assuming you're all staying safe. Congratulations, sir, on this wonderful performance. Very heartening to see the growth. Just few questions, but perhaps I'll ask one and get back into the queue. While you called out 19230 outlets as having been onboarded, I think only 13610 is fully operational, and the balance are under a service activation stage. If you could clarify, what does this mean? Does it mean that the business has not started happening there? That's my question 1.
Sure. So, Mr. Raju, Happy New Year to you and your family, and I trust everything is well at your end also. So, as you rightly said, basically out of this, if you see 19,230, 13,610 are fully operational. It means where all the services are activated, whereas the balance outlet 5,600 stores where partial services are now activated. So, for example, in order to activate, say, insurance services, the franchisee also needs to clear a certification of POSP, point of sale person, or to activate the banking services, he has to clear the IBA certification, India Banking Association exam. So that is part and parcel of the franchisee process. So I think so typically it takes around 3 months to 6 months in order to get all the services fully operational at the Kendra. So that is where we say that although the outlet has been onboarded and the franchisee has activated few of the services, it is not necessary that the Kendra is fully operational in terms of entire bouquet of services being available. So that takes typically 1 to 2 quarters in order to have that kind of activation and maturity in place.
Excellent, sir. Can I ask one more question, operator, or do I go back into the queue?
I would request you to rejoin the queue, sir.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Kapil, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity and Happy New Year, guys. Sir, I just have 2 questions. One is related to operations. Like a few years back, a few quarters back, there is announcement on EV charging stations on Kendras to be installed. I want to understand what's the progress on that. And my second question is in terms of the balance sheet, where majority worth accounts for receivables and loan advances, and with debtor days of around 3 years. Could you please help us understand what leads to this cash conversion cycle too high?
Sure, sir. So if you see, basically, first thing is with regard to the EV thing, so we are still evaluating, we are looking at the right set of the partners as well as the technology to evolve, because one is we are having a physical network of Kendras in place, and where we try to see what is the best ROI that we can generate by activating any of the key services. So when we have evaluated that at that point of time, that was just before COVID hit. So basically it was at that point of time we were evaluating specifically for the EV charging station, but we felt that the technology has to still evolve and there has to be more maturity in terms of the industry rollout, specifically in tier 3 and below, because our 70% presence is typically between tier 3 to tier 6 locations. So I think so that was not the right time for us to activate the services. We are still evaluating, it is very much on radar, but I think so at the right time we did some pilot, but I think so we wanted to wait because there is some capex for the franchisee, so we don't wish that the franchisee should do the capex and then his ROI is impacted because of that. So that is one thing. Second thing, with respect to the receivables, so I would like to highlight that even the proposed demerger that has been done is primarily to demarcate both the businesses separately. One is the Kendra business, where my working capital cycle is very much like a normal retail outlet business, which is like less than 30 days to 45 days. That is a typical working capital cycle for a Kendra business, versus my legacy e-governance business or the hardware trading business, where the working capital cycle is fairly enlarged because of the retention clauses, and any project that we complete, it is typically a 2-year to 3-year kind of retention money which gets locked in and it gets released after 2 to 3 years. So that is where this entire demerger process is also proposed by the board, and it is in process, where we also highlighted during the speech also that we are awaiting for the observation letter, post which will go for the NCLT approval. Once this demerger is done, you will have the separate businesses, and where you will be able to see how this Vakrangee Kendra business is an asset-light, free cash flow positive, high return on capital business versus the legacy business. So legacy business, we are not taking up any new projects, but whatever projects we have completed till date, the receivables are typically the retention money of those particular projects, because that is like a toll project to just in a layman language. It's a build, operate, transfer. So whenever you complete the project, there is a retention money which is locked in and which gets released after 24 to 36 months. And that is where this money will also definitely be coming in, but it is slated to be released in this year and early next year. I think so we'll have to wait for some more time in order to get the conversion of those receivables into the cash balance. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ansh Patel, a shareholder. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I wanted to know, why has the employee cost fallen to half compared to the previous quarter? That is my first question.
Sure. So if you see, basically there is also a footnote provided. There is a note to accounts provided in the result, where we have highlighted that there was a lapse of ESOP. So there were the outstanding ESOPs where the lapse has happened, and these ESOPs were at a higher price on which the company had calculated the ESOP employee expenses in the earlier quarter. And since those ESOPs have lapsed, and that is where the amount is coming out fallen, it looks like an employee cost has reduced significantly, but that's primarily because of the lapse of the ESOP.
So that 11 lakhs of ESOP that has just been shown on this BSC website, वो उसके कारण आप बोल रहे हो?
Yes, yes. उसके कारण 4 करोड़ का फर्क आया है. अगर आप वो देखेंगे notes to account, उसमें we have clearly mentioned that there is a difference of around 4 crores primarily because of the lapse of those ESOPs.
और सर ये डीमर्जर पिछले 1-1.5 साल से चल रहा है, तो कब तक मैक्सिमम हो जाएगा डीमर्ज? मतलब ये जब शेयर्स अलॉट हो जाएंगे, और जो मतलब डीमर्जर कब तक फाइनली हो जाना चाहिए?
सर डीमर्जर में अगर आप देखेंगे, हमने लास्ट क्वार्टर में बोर्ड ने फाइनल अप्रूवल दे दिया था. उसके बाद में हमने स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस में सारा सबमिशन कर दिया. सो देयर इज नथिंग पेंडिंग फ्रॉम आवर एंड. we are awaiting for the observation letter from the stock exchanges. The process goes like this. We have already submitted whatever was required as a process from our side. Now, once the stock exchanges gives us the observation letter, then we move ahead with the NCLT approval process. So, NCLT approval process, we cannot commit exact date, but typically it takes around 4 to 6 months. That is the typical process for the NCLT approval process, going by the benchmarks which is happening. So, I think it will take a. Sorry.
I wanted to ask, आप लोग ने जब डीमर्जर अनाउंस किया तो उसके बाद एक एक्सपायरी डेट तो होता होगा ना कि तब तक डीमर्जर हो जाना चाहिए?
नहीं, वो हमारे ऊपर नहीं है ना. दैट इज द अप्रूवल प्रोसेस दैट हैज टू गो थ्रू एनसीएलटी एज वेल एज स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस. दीज आर द रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज हु हैव टू अप्रूव दिस.
Okay, so there is no fixed time limit over that.
Yeah, that is not in our. The ball is not in our court.
Okay. And sir, one last question कि लास्ट 5 क्वार्टर से अपना प्रॉफिट 3-3.5 करोड़ रुपए कंटिन्यूस फिक्स्ड मैनर में बढ़ रहा है, तो उसका कोई रीजन है क्या सर कि एक सिमेट्री में क्यों बढ़ रहा है?
नहीं सर, ऐसा कोई सिमेट्री जैसा नहीं है. अगर आप देखोगे बेसिकली कोविड के टाइम में ड्यूरिंग 2021 my only banking and ATM services were operational 2020 and 2021 because we were an essential service provider. So all the other services were shut due to the lockdown and only banking service was operational. उसमें भी limitation था because government subsidies जो आ रही थी, only that transactions were happening, not a regular banking which was happening. Now as the situation is getting normalized post COVID, our banking and ATM services are picking up. At the same time, other services have started becoming operational. So that is where we are seeing the impact, where our growth, if you see in terms of YOY basis or whether you see in Q on Q basis, you are going to see this improvement because of improvement in terms of number of stores, improvement in terms of service activation across the stores, in terms of maturity of the services.
और सर हमारा EPS जैसे अर्निंग पर शेयर देखे तो 0.28 हो गया है, 0.16 से, बट शेयर प्राइसेस पिछले 2 साल से वहीं के वहीं दे आर जस्ट स्टक अप देयर आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग फॉल. डू वी हैव एनी आंसर ओवर इट? लाइक it is not going up, not down, it is just stagnant there.
I would refrain from answering this because that is not in our hands. That is typically in the hands of the shareholders. So what our work is to do best in the business operation.
Yes.
We are to deliver the best in terms of our efforts, in terms of turning around the operations and getting back to the growth trajectory and better profitability. I think so. As a listed entity, from a management perspective, we do not have any role into day-to-day share price movement, and
right.
Pure demand supply scenario from a shareholder's perspective. So I think so that is taken care by the markets and by you guys, which are the shareholders.
I know. It's just out of being curious, because when somebody is investing, so we just feel
I would just like to highlight in the last 2 years also, if you see, the promoter group has already increased their.
I know. That's what we have been noticing, that promoters also and also the employees have been buying it.
Yes, so from the management's perspective or from the owner's perspective or from the promoter's perspective, we are putting our best effort, and I think so we'll see the results. The re-rating might take little time, but finally we are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. That is 100% observable. And thanks a lot for all the questions that I had, and you had answered it really nicely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will take one more question, which is from the line of Vikas Nahar from Overseas Incorporation. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Next 6,000 cameras, when will they be operational, partial and fully?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
You are going to add another 6,000 cameras.
Correct.
In this quarter. When would they be partially operational and also fully operational?
So, sir, basically franchisees have already been selected, they have already been onboarded, so therefore we have a clear visibility in terms of reaching the 25,000 number. Second thing is in terms of they are currently in the progress of building the infrastructure and setting up the location and the branding perspective. So I think so by March they will be onboarded completely. Service activation might happen till June. So I would say June is where most of the services should get operational on a most conservative side, or on a I would say under promise and over delivering perspective, if I say max September.
Oh, and when would they achieve the targeted 52,000 revenue per month?
So, sir, basically, if any store, if you see the typical maturity profiles, it takes around, based on location to location, because it also depends upon where is the location, what are the footfalls at that location. So, typically, it takes around 4 to 6 months to reach basic maturity, which is around at least 40,000 rupees of revenue. And if you take a full-scale maturity, which is around 80,000 to a lakh rupees of revenue, it typically takes around 12 months to 15 months.
So the last one, this old Canras, which the last quarter you had 13,600 Canras, and the average revenue was 52,000. You have a target revenue of 1 lakh per Canra. When are we likely to achieve that?
Sir, right now the quarter numbers which you are seeing, sir, they are not the full potential numbers, because again, because of this COVID environment and lockdown situations which have been there typically in rural India, not all services are fully operational. Like travel services are completely more or less shut. They are not happening much. So my travel service revenue is very negligible. Online shopping had taken a hit because of the delivery issues typically in the rural area. So as things normalize, you will definitely see the per store revenue also see a good improvement. That is our expectation. So seeing the on ground improvement and the progress which is happening now, since there is no major lockdown and situation is more or less normalized now. So we feel that the per store productivity or the per store revenue should see at least 15 to 20% increment over the next 6 months.
That is about 80,000 per store, right? That is the next target.
70,000, yes. 70 to 80,000 is what we feel that a good mature stores can easily reach.
Oh, mature store, right? This you expect the whole 13,600 Canras to achieve it in next 3 to 6 months.
Yes, 6 months is where we are targeting, because at the same time what we are also focusing, sir, is also we are adding more bouquet of services. So like recently we have just added this demat account opening services, which as a service, if you see, is a free service to the citizen. For the consumer, it's a free demat account opening. And now since even like LIC IPO is coming, so there is huge interest in the even for the retail shareholders, because LIC has some targeted pricing for their policy holders also, and they have some shares allotted. So that also brings lot of engagement from the rural consumers also, because there are more than 29 crore policy holders on a pan-India level. So there is a huge community which wants to participate in this. So this is like a new service which we have added, and it has a very good margin profile. In terms of, we have added PAN card services. So PAN card is again one more service which is a full service. So lot of people, there is a lot of interest. So we feel a mix of maturity of the services, post-COVID improving, and second is addition of some of these new services which will help us increase the per store revenue numbers.
Thank you. I understand that very much. Thank you so much for being so clear in explanation. And congratulations on good numbers and doing good work. All the best, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, for today. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anmeet Sabharwal for closing comments.
Thank you everyone for taking time out and attending our quarterly conference call. Please feel free to get in touch with us in case of any further queries or any details needed. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you. Vakrangee Ltd. That concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.